Hi everyone, welcome to Space. My name is Ako from Space, and this is another video on holistic awareness. And the topic is, what is really masculinity and femininity? Of course, this is a question that has been discussed in many circles for many years, since time immemorial, I believe. And there are many different ideologies and structural understanding of it, but this video will just serve as a way to have a different alternative view on the subject matter. Now, I'd like to take this opportunity to just deconstruct it a little bit so that you can somewhat align yourself to my point of view on the subject at hand. Now, when it comes to masculinity, we need to differentiate the term female from femininity because, of course, female meaning the physical body, gender aspect of things, and femininity meaning the qualities and attributes that are aligned with the characteristic and the behavior of a woman. Right, and same thing for a man, a male figure, a male being the physical body, and the masculinity being the behavior attached to that, qualities and attributes, to be more precise. But when it comes to masculinity and femininity, it is very important to understand that those ideologies or traits, as it is understood, differ from culture to culture. So in many ways, what certain culture may see as masculinity may differ from what another culture may understand as masculinity. You know, there are nuances wherever you go in the world. Same thing for femininity as well. But historically speaking, the world has in many ways favored men because of the physical ability of men, because machinery and automation hadn't existed for such a long time, only up until 200 years from now. Physical ability and physical power was highly valued, of course, and therefore it favored men, and of course men who didn't have a good moral and ethics used that to their advantage to subjugate many women. Right, so, and of course that resulted to a world that is mainly dominated and created by men, right? And up until 200 years from now, where things have changed with the introduction of technology and machinery and so on and so forth, and the advent of white-collar desk jobs, which didn't require as much physical power. So, manhood or masculinity has therefore been associated with physical power and physical strength, because it was needed. If we had lived in a world where physical strength wasn't needed as well at all, I should say, the definition of manhood or masculinity as strength, as related to strength and muscle power and so on and so forth, would not be created at all, or may have taken a back seat, I should say. So the advent of a modern world has changed and is changing what the definition of masculinity actually really is, which is creating some issues in the gender roles as we are experiencing in society right now. Of course, that is changing the definition of femininity as well, right? As women are using, or I should say, creating a way for the validity of femininity to come to the forefront as society has changed to a more modern society. So it's very important to point out that when it comes to what we call femininity and masculinity, we have to understand that one cannot just assign it to physical ability, right? One has to assign it to three major factors: cultural beliefs, natural traits, right, natural abilities, and structural traits, which are more related to behavioral traits, right? So those three factors determines what we define as masculinity and femininity, and as the environment of the social environment, I should say, of the men and the women change, so will change the concept or the ideologies of what is feminine and what is masculine, what is femininity and what is masculinity. Now, let's touch on these simple but profound factor. Since time immemorial, roles of femininity and masculinity has been tailored toward physical dominance and physical ability, primarily because of the need to survive. The need to survive factor in incredibly as to what we define as femininity and masculinity. And since the need to survive demanded physical ability, physical presence, and physical dominance, and men had it, then it became part of what was assigned to men as masculinity, and since women didn't have it as much, other roles were assigned to femininity. But keep in mind that environment and the need to survive define profoundly what we define as femininity and masculinity. And just to go back on my point earlier, as society change and the aspect or what is required for one to survive change, so will be our concept of masculinity and femininity as men adjust to the new changes in the social environment and society in order to survive based on their natural trait, their structural traits, and their cultural norms, and the femininity will change as well based on those aforementioned things that I have mentioned or that I have discussed. So, what is masculinity and what is femininity? It's more like it changes, I'll say it changes based on the social environment and the what is needed for one, the male to survive and the female to survive. Right? That will change what femininity and masculinity is. So it changes all the time. It gets redefined, adjusted, and restructured and remanufactured all the time. But one thing will never change is the natural traits and the energetic and spiritual aspect of things, which I'll discuss in another video. This natural and spiritual aspect of things is the anchor of what femininity actually is at its essence and what masculinity really is at its essence. And once humankind deviate from that, then we'll start having problems, right? We'll start having problems because it's like a monkey trying to be a fish, right? A monkey can experience itself, explore different ways of being. So does a fish as well. But a monkey trying to be a fish will not work, right? So in another video, I'll dive deeper into the essence of what femininity really is and masculinity really is at the energetic and spiritual level, so that one can understand whether culture norms changes, ideology changes, and structural trait changes, grounding force from a spiritual and energetic essence remain the same. What basically happens is like a tree with different branches. The expression of it may change, but the core of it does not change. When you try to change the core of it, that's when you start having problems. So this video is just a discussion on the ideology of femininity and masculinity, because at its core it's just an ideology, but the grounding of it is mainly spiritual and energetic. So this is basically what I'd like for you to take away from this video. And if you have any question, please leave them below. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. If you have friends that will benefit from my channel, do invite them to join the channel and subscribe and hit the bell icon. And also to support the Heliospace platform, you can go to my website www.heliospace.com and purchase my books, apparels, and consultations. Until next time, have a good day and take care. Bye-bye.